back to one of our top stories now. And of course, it's a great day for travellers as South Africa officially reopened its borders after 6 months of lockdown. It has been a very busy day, particularly at OR Tambo International Airport. eNCA's Heidi Giokos is there, and she joins us again. Now, Heidi, you're now on an aeroplane. Where are you heading off to? Are you leaving the country?
Sally, I wish I was leaving the country. Unfortunately, not yet. But we are in an Emirates aircraft. It landed this afternoon at about 4:30, and we're just trying to get a sense of the new way of flying because of COVID-19, the protocols and so forth. So we are joined by Emirates Regional Manager for Southern Africa, Fouad. Thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it.
Only a pleasure.
This is very exciting. International travel is back up again. And explain to us how day one has been for Emirates flying back into South Africa.
Well, Heidi, we've never really left South Africa. We've been operating, we've been around in that very, tight conditions over the last 6 months, operating repatriation flights, about 35 of them, and the passenger freighters. So we've been quite busy. We've maintained, the relationship. And you know what? South Africa is very close to our, to the Emirates pulse, to the Emirates heartbeat. And, we mark at the moment today the big official, rejoin of the Emirates network. Joburg becomes the 94th destination, making it about 60% of the network that we had pre-pandemic, restarting today. I'm not forgetting Cape Town, which was 93rd, this morning. A bit earlier than today, so we're very happy, we're very proud, and it's part of our life story.
Speak to us about how important the South African market actually is. We know that you have been operating repatriation flights and so forth, but how important is it for you to continue flying specifically to the South African market?
Of course, for many reasons. I mean, I will start with the economics. I mean, it's at the root of everything. South Africa is directly or indirectly, one of our biggest revenue markets, one of the top 10 globally. But for more reasons than that. Then there's reasons which are closer, to our strategic interests. It was one of the first 5 points, that we operated to in Africa. And I'm relating back to 1995, so just after 1994, one of our closest, strategic points on the Emirates network. But then for many other reasons, closer to the heart. There's about 20,000 South Africans living in the UAE. The UAE and South Africa share a very long, economic relationship, commercial relationship. We have, for instance, of our cabin crew whom you have seen today, about 1,000 of them, operating the various aspects of our airline network, from the flight deck to the cabin. So yes, it's a very epidemic relationship that we share with South Africa.
And then just speak to us about how Emirates is going to ensure that COVID-19 protocols are adhered to, and also making sure that passengers feel safe. It's very difficult to social distance in an aircraft. How are you going to make sure that passengers feel safe and that you, as an airline, adhere to the regulation?
Of course, we've been one of the trendsetters, if you want to use that word, over as soon as the pandemic started. Obviously, we had when we restarted the services around the 15th of June, we took the time, of little downtime that we had to experience to review our processes, and many of them, have been now or are becoming now industry standards. To start with the 72-hour PCR negative certificate that anybody coming on board our flights need to have, otherwise cannot join. But then in all the details, in every bits and the pieces, our cabin crew themselves, wearing their PPEs, the pre-packed meals that you would see being offered without compromising on the full service. the hygiene kits, that we provide our passengers from the counter, the sanitary bubble that we create around the airport, the Dubai transit point, the mega transit point of Dubai itself. So yes, in the pipeline of ensuring that everybody is COVID-free, we have been one of the leaders.
Okay, then just very quickly, Fuad, speak to us about how Emirates is going to deal with high-risk countries. We know that the United Arab Emirates is actually a high-risk country on the South African list.
Correct. I mean, see, Heidi, we take things naturally, and those are steps that are not different from steps that other governments take across the world. Different methodologies apply, and we support official requirements wherever they apply. What we know that the relaunch is going to be tedious and will take time. So the best thing to do is to be sure that we are appropriate in our needs and that we follow requirements very closely. Just one point on that, I mean, the UAE are listed as a high-risk country. Comes to my mind that the case test in the UAE, the caseload test in the UAE, is about 5 million. When you consider the population of the UAE, is about 3.7, 3.8 million. You can see that there's a over-testing gap, which I think is necessary and which I think is very useful, for the comfort of everybody else. I do compare with the South African caseload, which is about 4.2, 4.3 million. So I would think, that while the UAE is or may be considered as a high-risk country, life goes on as normal. Obviously, no one takes any unnecessary risks. Physical distancing and the usual common sense also do apply. And we do look forward for that relaunch. That will take time, but will be necessary.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to move over to this section over here, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be speaking to Sabrina, who's a cabin crew member here on Emirates. Thank you so much. Just speak to us about the pre-packed meals and speak to us about the travel hygiene kit that you guys will be supplying.
This travel hygiene kit, all our customers will receive it out of Dubai and out of all destinations where we fly to. It contains some masks that we can provide throughout the flight anytime customers need. Also hand sanitizing wipes and gloves, which we recommend very often to wear them.
Okay, and just speak to us about how you are geared up as well.
Our PPE, it's a must. Since we arrive on board, the mask is always, we need to wear it even outside the aircraft. Everything else, once we get on board, we wear this and we change it every 4 hours at least.
Okay, and then just speak to us about how it feels to be flying again. It must have been a couple of rough months, but even though repatriation was taking place, how has it been to be back on South African soil?
It's very nice. Hopefully next time we will have a layover. We will manage to go out also. But it's nice to fly, first of all, to see people flying, being confident, flying, especially with Emirates.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. So Sally, I'm actually going to have a seat and hopefully they don't chase me out because I would love to leave the country.
Yeah, Heidi Giokos. It looks so exciting, and thank you for giving us a glimpse into what it will feel like when we move to international flights once again, and we welcome all those tourists back. Some of them flooding in, but of course many on the banned list. Thank you very much, Heidi Giokos, on an Emirates airline at OR Tambo. Plenty more to come. Stay with us.